can ask any question.
Brother Swami Master, please forgive me, I have a question.
Please.
Okay. Maharaj, I'm not initiated yet. Okay. But I know about you for 12 years because my mother is a satsangi. I'm confused since the professor said in a discourse that the mind can deceive us either in a friendly or in a hostile way. So the problem is, often I feel very lonely inside. Then I turn to you and ask for help. And is the feeling that you help me as long as I'm not a satsangi only a trick of my mind?
It's possible. You see, actually, tendency of the soul is not at all towards the creation. As I said yesterday, inclination or tendency of the soul is entirely towards the Father. It's only the mind which is attached to this creation, attached to each other, attached to these faces, these objects. And when we dress within ourselves, when we address to somebody, we are addressing to our own higher mind, our noble mind, our pure mind. Say your conscience. The more nobler your mind will be, the better guidance it will give you within. The more higher mind you have been able to develop, the better guidance you will get from within. Actually, it's your mind which is guiding you from within. His grace is always there. Those souls which the Lord ultimately has to put on the path, He starts shaping them right from the beginning. His guiding hand is over them, help is on with them right from the beginning. He doesn't let them go so stray and not be pulled back to the path. But as far as seeking the guidance and help from within, mostly it is our higher mind which is giving us.
She would like to know whether you only start to help when she is a satsangi.
What do you mean by help? What type of help you want? Or what type of help we want? Master is only there to help us, to take us out of the world. He will not give us anything which may attach us to this creation, which will bring us back to this creation. We have wrong concept of Master's grace and Master's help. It is not Master's help to find us a better husband, or to give us a better prospects in life, a fulfillment of our better ambitions in life. These things may pull us back to this creation. Master wants us to detach us from everybody in whom we are attached. That is real Master's grace.
She says she means her loneliness when she feels so lonely.
We are all lonely in this creation. It is self-deception to think that somebody belongs to you or you belong to somebody. Sooner we realize this, the better it is for our own advantage, for our own good. We are all lonely in this creation. Nothing belongs to us except the Lord. Our tendency is not towards Him. In this creation, nobody belongs to us. So naturally, that emptiness is there, the void is there. It can only be fulfilled. It can only be fulfilled by meditation, not by any other means. We are all lonely in this world.
She asked also together with you. She asked whether she would also be lonely with you.
She knows best.
Thank you.
Maharaji, may I please ask you a question from
Yes.
a sister? She says she is initiated for 2 months, and when she sits in meditation, after some minutes, this is most of the times, after some minutes she gets a very heavy pressure here, and then she has problems with breathing, and it gets very strong, and she has to get up and walk around, and then after some minutes she sits down again and wants to continue the meditation, but usually this problem comes back and she feels like suffocating.
You see, some people try to mix their Simran, synchronize their Simran along with breathing. Especially those who have been doing these yogic exercises or breathing exercises. They try to synchronize their Simran along with breathing, which is very harmful.
It's very harmful.
Simran has nothing to do with the breathing. Breathing is the normal function of the body. I'm talking to you, you are talking to me, neither you are conscious of breathing nor I am conscious of the breathing. So at the time of Simran, we should not be conscious of the breathing. Then you will try to hold one breath and do 2 times Simran, 3 times Simran, or you will try to go up and down along with the breathing and do Simran. These all sorts of complications will arise. So one should not try to mix Simran with breathing at all.
Thank you.
Master, I'm over here. Could you explain, please, what happens to the 3 classes of souls as they pass through the gates of death? The first soul being the uninitiated, the second soul being initiated but having made no progress on the path and may even have strayed, and thirdly, the initiated soul that has made good progress, please.
Brother, it depends upon our individual karma, whether you are initiated or whether you are not initiated. You see, it depends upon your attachment to this creation. Even if you are initiated, even if you have some progress to your credit, but you are very much attached to someone in this creation, you will have to come back to this creation. On the other hand, if you are initiated, you are not attached to anybody in this creation, and you have hardly any progress to your credit, there is no reason why should you come to this creation. You can't generalize these things. It depends upon the individual karma. We go according to our own karma.
Master, may I ask something for my husband who is not here?
Yes, please.
He would like to ask if you could send your darshan.
Send you darshan? Can you take that darshan with you? What is the concept of darshan?
I don't know.
Then you should have asked before you came.
It's his question. He wants to ask you if you could send your darshan to him.
I don't know what does it mean by darshan.
I will ask him.
How can the darshan be sent to him? Is he satsangi?
Yes.
He should meditate and try to find his master within and have as much darshan as he wants.
Thank you, Master. I tell him.
Master?
Yes.
Over here.
Yes, please.
I'm a seeker, and I've recently met one of your followers, and I have some questions which I'm sure are rather probably explained somewhere in one of your books, but how do you view divorce?
How?
Yes, what is divorce allowed among satsangis?
Sister, my books are full with such problems. I don't know, it depends upon individual circumstances. I can't generalize it, but normally I don't approve of divorces with one excuse or another. People rush for divorces with one excuse or another.
But there are circumstances where they're
That's
understandable.
what I said. It depends on circumstances.
Thank you.
Maharaji,
Yes.
I know that social activities should not take the place of satsang, but I notice over the years, brothers and sisters, even before initiation, who come to satsang and then leave and don't make friends with other satsangis or have lunch or dinner or other activities with satsangis, often don't stay around very long. You know, after the years, they are not around anymore at satsang. You never see them again.
No, I'm not against social activities by satsangis, but that is not the purpose of holding satsang. I'm not against social activities or social meetings by satsangis, but that should not be the main object of satsang. Main object is something different.
Yes, thank you very much, Maharaji. All your Sevadars.
Maharaji, here, you like Radha Swami. I would like one advice from yours. Please, when I travel to visit some friends, I usually always carry with me. I would like to offer to you something, but I don't know what kind of offer to you. What kind of present can I do for you?
Your good wishes. More than enough for me.
Thank you, man.
Most welcome.
Master,
Yes, please.
thank you very much for providing me with an opportunity to see you as a seeker. I would like to apply for an initiation as soon as possible when I return to Hawaii with a representative there. I am all excited about it, for it will be the most important moment in my life. It is almost like subscribing to a telephone service. When certain arrangements have been met, and commitments made, and a switch in the central terminal is flipped on, and from that moment on, we can make the connection through the terminal anytime we want. That is as far as we pay the dues.
Telephone services are not very encouraging in India. I don't know about your country.
To me, initiation provides us with this turning on of the switch beyond the instruction and symbolic meaning. My question is, since the initiation is done by an agent through your proxy, thousands of miles away, how and when this vital switch is turned on? Would you be present at an initiation in some invisible form or shout?
Well, brother, when you are initiated on the behalf of the master, it's the responsibility of the master to be there. You should not worry.
So I won't be, there's no case of me meditating for next 20 years, and for some reason my name is dropped from your administrative records, and without connecting to you, so I don't have to worry about that. I just wanted your assurance. Thank you very much.
You can be in touch with your representative there.
May I ask you one more quick question?
Yes.
I understand that the God is love, and the best way to approach God is the way of love. And I have no problem when I'm meditating or attending such meeting and retaining that one-pointedness toward that goal. But as soon as I get out on the street and face other human beings, fellow human beings, I guess every one of us get more greedy and selfish. We get more greedy and selfish. What would be the best way to balance that between those concentrated effort to
Well,
be.
love is something where nothing else can exist except the beloved. Love is very jealous. Except the beloved, it doesn't want anything else to be there. Christ said, if you love your mother, father, so many other relations more than me, then you are not, he said, worthy of me. And if we are not worthy of Christ, we cannot become worthy of the Father. Worthy of me to become me. Worthy of Father to become Father. So this is our love which will take us back to the Father. If we are in love with this creation, we'll come back to the creation. If we are in love with the Father, we'll go back to the Father. We go where our treasures are. If we are building treasure in earth, we'll come back to this earth. If we are building treasure in heaven, we'll go back to heaven. Go back to Father. This is love. That is why they say that God is love. Because only He can be realized through love. Meditation is nothing but detaching our mind from the creation and attaching it to the Father. Withdrawing our attachments from the creation, withdrawing our worldly love and focusing on the Father. That is the purpose of meditation.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, Maharaji. I have a problem that when I'm here and I'm in front of you and I see you, I mean, that's all that I want. I want to stay with you. I don't want to leave. I want to come back as soon as I can. And then, as soon as I go out and have dinner and walk to my hotel and go to the laundry, I begin to forget. And then by the time I get to the United States, it seems to all go away and I get all involved in everything. And then when I start trying to think of coming here, this enormous resistance starts rolling in, you know, worrying about the plane and worrying about hotels and will I ever be able to see you? And will that ever stop? That's been going on for about 5 years now. Is there any way to just let go of that resistance? You mentioned that to a brother, just stop resisting. And is that in my hands?
What do you mean by resistance?
Well, it's that I'm saying I want to do this, but there seems to be something that's saying just the opposite. That's saying, no, you shouldn't, or you just...
You see, mind is divided. It is attached to the creation, it is also being pulled to the path. So sometimes this side is heavier, sometimes this side is heavier.
Does it ever stop? I mean, besides when you get to Trikuti, does it go on like this forever?
There is no mind.
That's it.
There is only one side.
But till then, the struggle goes on.
It will go on.
Okay. I guess that was my second question. Was Professor mentioned that the mind is sometimes your friend and sometimes it isn't, and can it ever be totally?
As long as mind is pulling us downward and outward, this is our worst enemy. When it starts pulling us inward and upward, this is our best friend. You cannot find a better friend than the mind then. Without winning the friendship of the mind, soul can never get released from the clutches of the mind. Nanak says your mind becomes that of gold. First it is just an iron, then it becomes gold. When that paras, that philosopher's stone touches it. That philosopher's stone is Naam. So we have to win the friendship of the mind. Now it is enemy because it is pulling us outward. It is keeping us attached to this creation. When with the help of Shabad and Naam, we are able to withdraw from there and attach it to inside. Shabad starts pulling us in from outside and starts taking us upward, it starts becoming our friend. Then it starts becoming gold. Same mind. Only it needs to be in touch with the philosopher's stone.
Just as soon as it touches the Shabad, or do you fall back again and again after that?
It's always risky unless you go beyond the realm of mind and Maya.
Thank you.
Maharaji, could I have clarification, please, on something that great master wrote in Spiritual Gems? He said in letter 168, the soul of every true follower is progressing internally even when he is not aware of it. Yes, the soul can enter Brahmand when he is unconscious of it. How much progress can we make without being aware of it? And is it usual for a soul to travel so far inside without having any knowledge of it?
No, we have its effect on us. We don't have practically the whole knowledge of its inside traveling, but we start feeling its effect within us, our attitude, our mind starts changing. Aptitudes of the mind changes. Generally, saints don't say these things, but great master has written that, I know, especially to certain disciples. But that's the fact.
Thank you, Maharaji.
Radha-Swami Master.
Yes.
I have a question, but first I would like to thank you for this rare opportunity to be with you in the physical form. Master, you've pulled many of us here from the Hawaiian Islands, and I know that there are a few people that were left behind that would like to be remembered to you. And my question is, Master, many of us are leaving soon, and I wonder if you could advise us as to how we can win the grace of the Lord and achieve God realization in this life.
Sister, I think we are discussing nothing but that every day. What do we meet here for? Nobody is talking any fairy tales here. We are only talking about spirituality, nothing else. Meditation is the only way. There is no other shortcut. And we are harping on the same tune every day, day and night, every day. That is the only way. That is the only solution. There is no other way. Do your best, and rest you leave it to the Father's grace.
Thank you, Master.
Beloved Radha-Swami,
Yes.
would you please describe to us how the Father chooses the soul of His Son and how that soul is sent down into Penda for our salvation?
This I think you better ask the Father. How can we describe how Father does and what Father does? Sitting at less level, how can we describe about Him? How He selects and whom He selects and why He selects? He knows best.
I ask that because we would like to hear you speak for a while. We've spoken so much about ourselves.
Yes, we are speaking every day. I'm here practically every day for 1 hour. I think most of the speaking is done by me rather than you.
Thank you, Radha-Swami.
Yes.
Maharaji, you're right. You've often quoted Socrates as saying, "Know yourself," before knowing the Lord. And part of the question is it important? Is it also necessary to love yourself before you love God? And behind that is that I find that I have difficulty in loving myself. And I wonder whether you have any suggestions as to how I could love myself more, how we could love ourselves
Brother,
more.
where did I say love yourself?
You said know yourself.
Know yourself.
Yeah.
Know thyself. That is different than loving yourself.
Right, that's correct. I interpreted that as loving yourself. The question to me that I wanted to know is how I can love myself better.
I don't know how to love yourself, because when you love the Lord, you don't exist. Then how can you love yourself? Either you will love yourself or you can love the Lord. If you are in love with yourself, you are not in a position to love the Lord at all. We are all in love with ourselves. Loving ourselves means we attach to this creation so much, attached to the faces and objects of the world. We are trying to please our mind by belonging to people, by deceiving ourselves that they belong to us. This is loving ourselves. Actually, neither they belong to us, neither we belong to them. Someone who belongs to us, someone whom we belong, that we don't bother to care. That is the only Father. So we don't have to love ourselves. If you remove all the coverings from the soul, soul will automatically go back to the Father, because soul is full with love and devotion for the Father. Soul is not bothered about herself. Soul is only anxious to go back to the Father. Soul is in love with the Father. Soul is not in love with herself. This is mind. This is ego. Then we think, I love myself. I love my body. I love my property. I love my children. I love my family. I love myself. We are all in love with ourselves. And that is keeping us here attached to this creation. We want to love the Father. Know thyself means that releasing the soul from the clutches of the mind. Christ said, Go, ye have become whole, sin no more, lest a worse thing can come unto thee. When we become whole, then our love is only for the Father, for nobody else in this creation. And it becomes whole when it goes beyond the realm of mind and Maya. And no covering of the soul is there. An association of the mind is not there. Needle is always attracted towards the magnet. But if you put a weight over the needle, it becomes helpless. That doesn't mean the needle is no more attracted by the magnet. The attraction is there very much, but only helpless due to weight. Remove the weight, automatically it will go back to the magnet. That is the condition of our soul. Soul is constantly in love with the Father. It doesn't love the mind at all.
Thank you very much, Maharaji. And I wish you very well.
Thank you very much.
Master, yesterday, no, it wasn't yesterday. I can't even remember when it was, a few days ago. I asked questions about my daughter. Well, now I just thought of asking something about my sons. I think that through my daughter's accident, I've learned in the last 3.5 years to not be so attached to my children, to learn to day in and day out be ready to let them pass on, maybe. But my sons are very strong and healthy, and they're all vegetarians, and they don't even know why they're vegetarians. They say they don't believe in God, but they wouldn't dare touch meat or eggs or fish. I'm wondering, should I've never pushed, they love me so much, and you also said that if I'm drawn to you and someone else loves me and is drawn to me, that they too will be drawn to the Father. Well, I've always had that attitude, and I've never forced them to go to satsang. But I'm wondering, I think if I just asked them, well, why don't you come along to satsang? I think that they probably would. Should I read the books to my kids? Should I maybe ask the older ones to come to satsang? Or should I just forget about that?
Sister, if we are not attached to our daughters or children, that doesn't mean that we have no responsibility or obligation to them.
Right, that's what I feel, that responsibility.
We have to perform
Right.
our responsibility or obligation rather more
Yes.
efficiently.
Yes.
We have to fill that gap which is created by not attaching ourselves to them.
Yeah.
As far as asking your children, you have to see their aptitude. If you think it will be any help to them, useful to them, you may. Otherwise, you can leave the books at home where they can see about, and if they're interested, they'll read it. Otherwise, don't force them.
Yeah, I never have forced them, but they say that I'm so different than my ex-husband. He gives little discourses, about Sant Mat, and with me, I don't even want to talk about it. And so they always ask me and say, "Wait, now sit here and tell me." And so I make them finally just make me sit still and I tell them something. That's my attitude. So maybe a reverse psychology has been working. I hope so. Thank you.
I mean, you understand them better, you see, than anybody else.
I think so. Thank you, Master.
Master?
Yes, please.
The other day, you said there are no lessons and that we don't learn from our mistakes. I'm having trouble understanding this. We learn not to touch a hot stove because it burns us, and we learn to walk by repeatedly trying and falling. Hopefully, eventually, we learn not to indulge in various harmful things because they bring us pain. It seems to me that if we pay attention to our actions and their results and are willing to grow, we can improve through experience. Did you mean only that usually we are too stubborn to do this because we are attached to our bad habits, or is there another meaning? Would you please explain more about this point?
You see, we, sister, generally never learn from our own mistakes. Even if we know why we are here, what mistakes we committed in our last birth, that we deserve to hear and suffer now, even if we know, we will do the same thing which we did in the past lives. Mind is so powerful. Mind is so attached to this creation, so attached to the senses. Even in this life, many weaknesses we have, we know they are wrong. Knowing fully well it is wrong, don't we do it again and again? Now, smoking. Even the government writes it is harmful to the health. We also know it is harmful to the health. Do we leave it?
Some people do, sir.
Then, not everybody.
No.
Do we learn from our mistakes?
Sometimes
So statement is general.
Okay.
Not any particular people, you see.
Thank you. It's not absolute then. I had one other small thing. When I was initiated, they told us to meditate 15 minutes before we go to sleep. And it's very difficult for me to stay awake at that time. And I wondered, is it really important to do this, or is it just a suggestion?
It depends upon the individual. Of course, it's a suggestion. You'll get a better sleep.
Is that the only special benefit, or?
Only special benefit. If you'll do Simran, your mind is concentrated, you will sleep at once. It's a good care for insomnia.
Thank you very much, Master, and I also wish you most well.
Thank you very much for your good wishes.
Radha Swami Maharaj, how are you doing today?
Just as yesterday.
Okay. My second question is, I have many friends, a few that are suspicious of my being on the spiritual path, and I do not know how to handle that situation. What is the best way to go about it?
You know your problem, you have to deal with it. You have to deal with it. You have not to blow trumpet that you are on the path. That's your personal decision, you have to live with it. And you have to face so many odd things also, odd situations also, you have to face them.
Okay. So, okay. All right. Nancy, I thank you for accepting me as a disciple, and I must work hard. Thank you very much.
I have 2 questions. What do we do with the faculty of seeing when we're in bhajan and we haven't reached to the level of hearing the sound?
Faculty to see, you see, when you see the light, that will be occupied. Faculty to see. Otherwise, keep your attention in the darkness here and do and hear the sound. Just be here and hear the sound.
And second question. It's been many years since I've seen you, and I don't know when I'll see you again. When we're in your presence, it's easier to be clear about what's important. How do we keep that clarity when we go back to our homes?
By attending to meditation, keeping your meditation in your mind.
Thank you.
When our own reality is sharp, why do we need a Sadguru to connect us with it?
When you will know the reality, then you won't need it. Now you think you are body, you are mind, you are senses, you are part of the creation, you have forgotten your reality. When you realize your reality, then there will be no necessity. Then you will be part of the Master. You follow my point?
The Sant Matgurus should not do miracles and should not work with paranormal actions. Why do we to go home to get the initiation there? That seems to me very paranormal because it's such a great distance.
I'm not following your point.
The Sadgurus of Sant Mat do not do any miracles, any paranormal actions.
Brother, normally they don't do miracles. They don't collect people by performing miracles. But miracles do happen in their saints' life. They are so kind, so soft-hearted, but here and there, some odd things called them miracles do happen. Nothing wrong with it.
In initiation, is it a miracle? Initiation?
Initiation is no miracle. How do you call it a miracle?
What does happen at the time at initiation in course of Shabd?
In course of Shabd?
Yes. It is there, and what is happening with it?
Shabd is always there. We are just brought in touch with that. We know the process of being in touch with the Shabd. That is initiation.
And the people who have heard the updrawing Shabd before, do they also need initiation?
Yes, they do.
And why?
Because they do know how to do it.
Thank you.
Master, over here. I came here because I felt pulled to come, but what I hoped to get was to satisfy my mind, my intellect, and what I'm finding is that I keep going around in circles. I get confused. I hear things that sound contradictory to me, and I try to figure them out, and I keep getting caught up in analyzing. Like I try to figure out that maybe it doesn't mean that, it means this, and I try to interpret it. And I'm wondering if I need to keep trying to satisfy that, or if I just should accept on faith that some things I won't understand yet. I mean, some things we can't understand until we merge with God. Is that right?
Sister, it depends upon what is bothering you. I can't generalize your statement.
Well, okay, one thing is the question of free will. Because I've heard you say that we have no free will, but I've also read that you said we have limited free will, and also that we should try to do our best. And I guess I'm not clear as to whether...
It's immaterial.
What?
It is immaterial if we don't understand all this.
Okay, so that's one of the things that we can't really
understand. Because at this level we can never understand it.
Okay.
You see, so many times I told you, from a higher scale, there's no free will, because first thing, when the Lord created this creation, We were never consulted to be a part of this creation. If we had free will, we would have remained to be His part rather than the part of the creation. Where was the free will when we were pushed down to this creation? Then we were pushed down to the level of the mind. That we had no free will. Then mind is fond of senses. Mind is also has become slave of senses. Where is the free will?
So maybe we have a tiny bit, but it's so little that it doesn't matter.
Christ says, you see, sometimes saints talk from a very higher level, sometimes from our human level. From a higher level, he says, even a hair on the body are numbered. What would you interpret it? You must have read the Bible.
Yeah.
Even the hair on the body are numbered. Where is the free will? And what difference it makes whether you have 10 hair on the body, less or more?
Yeah. Okay.
Does it make any difference? Nothing.
No, not to me.
Guru Nanak says, even the leaf of a tree doesn't move without his order. Same expression. And Guru Nanak came after 1500 years after Christ. He spoke in a different language, in a different country, in different circumstances. Christ was in a different country, spoke in a different language. They had no means of communication with each other. Never knew each other's languages. Speaking the same spiritual truth. Even other mystics have said the same thing. Then it is not in our hand where to be born. It is not our hand to select mother and father, select brother and sisters, select our schooling, select our environments, our education facilities, our surroundings in which we are brought up. And our thinking is all conditioned by all these circumstances, by our parentage, heritage, by our brothers and sisters, by our friends, by our schooling, by our neighbors, by our childhood living. Our whole thinking is conditioned by all that. We think I am making my own decision. We forget the mind which is deciding this particular question. How much mind has been grooved by the heritage, by the brothers and sisters, by our friends, by our environments, by our education, by the country in which we have been born. We ignore that. If you keep all that at the back of it, then no free will. If you ignore all that, you have free will. It's a question of only understanding it. From which level you are talking about.
Okay.
Our level, we say we have free will. From his level, there is no free will.
Okay, thank you. I have one more question. My daughter is 6 and she wanted me to ask you this, and I'd like to be able to tell her an answer. She wants to know why you're so smart.
Smart? What is your definition of smart?
I don't know, it was her question.
Probably she has not met any smart person yet.
Okay. Thank you.
Master,
yes, please.
Does Jesus reside in the region of Satlok?
Did Jesus?
Does Jesus reside in the region of Satlok?
Reside in the region
of Satlok.
What is Satlok?
Well, according to the book I've been reading about the Path of the Masters, it's the inner region, with Radhaswami.
Satlok. You mean Satlok?
I think so, yes.
I couldn't understand the word, you see. Well, Jesus knows better where he is. I am nobody to comment over it. About any mistakes, spiritual progress, about their place in the regions, in those mentions, I am nobody to comment.
Master, in that same book, the Perfect Master was saying about where some of the mystics lived quite openly, but I've been searching for, and I've been encouraged to search intellectually, being a seeker. for that answer. Apparently it was answered one time, and I can't find where. But I'm
Well, if pastor has said something, he knows best. I can't comment over it.
thank you, Master.
Master, is the separation of the soul from the Lord just an illusion? When we eventually return to Satchkam, is it in fact that we have never left? Is the separation an illusion?
Pardon, just explain again.
Okay. Is the separation of the soul from Satchkam just an illusion? When we eventually return to Satchkam, is it in fact that we have never really left?
Yes, you will forget about your past. You see, lover becomes so happy to be in the presence of the beloved. He forgets all the separation which he has suffered in the separation. He doesn't remain conscious of the separation at all. He has absolutely forgotten what he has to go through in the separation. How hard he has to work to achieve that union. He just forgets everything. He's so absorbed in his beloved, so absorbed in his love. He's not conscious of all that at all. He's only conscious of the beloved. For him, nothing but his beloved exists. All things are dead for him in life. The question of thinking past or separation does not arise.
Radhaswami Master, I wanted to ask you, please, when one's karmas overtake one, and one's meditation seems to be very bad, one's concentration goes, there's a lot of confusion in one's life, their balance goes. Does one just weather the storm and wait for it to pass, or is there anything practical that you could advise us to do?
Can you simplify your question?
When we are very involved in our karmas, and they seem very involved in our karmas, and they seem to take over our whole life, and our meditation seems to suffer very badly. We can't think of anything else but the problems that we're involved in, or the karmas we're involved in. I wondered if there was anything that we could do to overcome this problem, or do we just have to wait and weather the storm and wait for it to pass?
Sister, we should try to solve our problem with our best thinking, best intention. We should not try to put off the problem and wait for some better time to come. We have to deal and we have to live day by day. So we have problem at every step of our life. We can't ignore them. We have to solve them. So with our best intention, we should try to solve those problems.
Just the thing that really worries me is the way it overtakes the meditation, and the meditation becomes so difficult.
Naturally, because mind is involved in that problem and doesn't concentrate.
Okay, thank you very much. Master, my question is about a sharp pain I've often felt above my eyebrows.
You mean you're sad in seeing things within yourself or outside anywhere?
Outside, usually.
Outside, then?
Well, outside and inside. I'm usually involved in what I see, and it upsets me.
Mm-hmm.
And I get this pain.
Pain there?
In my forehead.
Yes.
And I wondered if it was connected with the past, because I talked to other satsangis that have experienced it also.
No, it is your attitude. It's just your attitude of the mind. That you can't face those situations. You can't live with those situations which is suffering you, which make you suffer. Try to solve those suffering if you can, but don't suffer yourself along with them.
So it's because I can't accept? Is that what it is?
Yes. You don't accept the situation. Try to help if you can render any help. Otherwise, accept it. Why suffer yourself?
Thank you.
Radhaswami, Master.
Yes?
Me and my wife is going to leave tonight, so we just want to thank you for being so kind to let us be here with you. This very short period, but very intense. Thank you very much.
Brother, sisters, I have told many times, you don't have to thank me for anything. This institution belongs to all of you.
You made me happy. Thank you.
You are most welcome.
Maharaji? Over here?
Yes.
This disciple too wants to thank you for taking us all by the hand towards the Lord. And a question? For those of us who work with people with psychological problems, you have advised us to focus on the science of our profession, to stay away from spiritual healing. My question is it all right to suggest exercises that concentrate the mind, such as focusing on the breath or repeating names of love that they choose themselves? This may be helpful physically or mentally, but is it harmful spiritually?
Sisters, you shouldn't say that. That's a part of meditation, so to say.
The concentrating in any way?
How would they concentrate?
How would they? The idea of focusing on the breath, but that is like meditation.
That sometimes can lead to complications. These breathing exercises, unless properly performed, leads to all sorts of complications with the body.
So should be avoided.
Many people try to read books, they start doing breathing exercises, pranayama, and they end into a lot of complications. Asthma and so many other things they create.
To avoid it.
Yes, this is also a particular technique by which they do it.
Is there any basic rule of thumb, a clear principle to hold in mind when working with people about the boundary between mental and spiritual?
Psychologically means one has to be a good friend. One has to open another person. He's so closed. He's keeping his own problem within himself. He doesn't want to divulge, doesn't want to share within anybody. He doesn't trust anybody. He wants to keep it within himself. So he is just becoming miserable because he can't offload it. Psychologically means you have to try to win his confidence. Try to become his best friend, so that he may open it to you and lighten himself. That was the purpose of confession in the churches. What did they do? They never redeemed them from those sins. They just made them light. They heard their problems. They wanted somebody to say, to tell, which they could not tell to everybody. Such heinous crime they do sometimes. They cannot share with anybody. They're frightened. But to Father they trust, they say. And they feel light. That is the purpose of psychologist.
I understand.
He has to be their friend. He has to win their confidence. And every patient doesn't trust the psychologist. They try to keep everything within themselves unless when they feel that they can trust the other person by his love, by his so many other ways and means. It is for the doctor to open that patient. Medically, just giving a pill and giving a medicine to treat him. Psychologically means you have to become his best friend, so that he may share with you all his problems, and his problem will be solved the moment he shares.
Very helpful. Thank you.
Master, I wanted to just, I don't know how to say this without it sounding like a complaint, but I'm always feeling very discouraged in this world, and I feel also very far away from my own path, even though it seems like it's the best thing that ever happened to me. And I feel helpless about this. My attitude, I want it to be much lighter and much more peaceful. And I know that the world is not it. But yet, the path, it seems so difficult. And not that that's a complaint. I just feel weak-hearted,
Sister, it is difficult, but it has to be followed. No other way. Child, before starting learning to walk, he finds it impossible to do it. But when he continues and passes through so many phases, he learns to walk, he learns to run, because he continues putting an effort. So we should just continue.
And if you continue, even though your efforts seem very, very, very small,
Doesn't make any difference, as long as we continue.
and someday you can feel you can feel happy about that. You can feel light about it.
Yes, yes. Because beggar's work is to knock. And that knock doesn't go waste. There's always somebody to respond. If we are sincere in knocking, it is responded. We shouldn't worry about it.
Thank you, Master.
Radhaswami Maharaji. Maharaji, sometimes concentration in meditation seems very poor, almost non-existent sometimes. And during these times, is there anything that I can do to keep feeling a personal connection with you?
Sit in meditation, whether you are able to concentrate or not. We should try to attend to meditation.
So do I just have to
Even
go...
as a matter of duty, even then it will help us.
Do I have to just go through those times when I feel less connected and it's very painful?
Don't worry, connected or not connected, that's not our job, that's his job. But we should try to give time.
Okay, thank you.
Master, did I remember correct? Do I remember that you said the other evening, I'm on your left, Maharaji. Do I remember you saying that the Master is the Sangat and the Sangat is the Master?
What?
I think the other evening, Maharaji, you said those words.
I say Master belongs to Sangat, Sangat belongs to Master.
Can you explain that relationship to me?
It's very clear. People, it was in connection with the seva people are performing for the Sangat. I said that they do seva to the Sangat because Sangat belongs to the Master. And Master belongs to the Sangat. They serve the institution belongs to the Master. They serve the Master. Master is in charge of the institution. So it comes to the same thing. It was only in connection with seva we were discussing.
The other thing I'd like to ask Maharaji, Professor yesterday said that when referring to the light within, that it's like a window opens. Does this mean that the light comes all at once, or does it come gradually like the dawn?
You see, first you are explained at the time of initiation, you see the flashes of light. It comes and goes, it comes and goes. Light doesn't come and go. Light is always there. It is our mind. When it is there, you see the light. When it drops down, you see the darkness. You feel it's the flashes. Actually, it's not flashes. Just like the lightning in the rainy season at night. It's not flashes. Light is absolutely there, clear, always there. This our mind just concentrates, then again drops down. Just concentrates, again drops down. So then we feel their flashes. That is how we begin.
Master, here to your right. Master, could you please explain to us what is spiritual healing?
I have never done it, I don't know. What is spiritual healing? Is it a fad or it has something in it? I know nothing about it.
What is it that we're not supposed to do?
Well, you are not to waste your spirituality in healing anybody. That's what I mean to say. How much spiritual healer helps you, I don't know. And what they do, I can't comment.
Thank you, Master.
Radhaswami Master, as I'm sitting here, I'm feeling more and more angry because I'm listening to the questions and hearing a lot of disrespectful questions.
Disrespectful? There's no disrespect at all.
I don't,
Why do you analyze it in that way?
I don't know, I just feel a lot of the questions, the people give you a lot of disrespect.
No. There's no disrespect. At least I don't take it in that way. When I don't take it, why should you worry?
But how come, like, the Western people are so intellectual compared to the Indians?
Their only objective is that I should stay here till 7 o'clock.
Thank you.
So, I know they are not serious, so I'm also not serious.